My daughter-in-law's text message shattered my world. We don't need you anymore. I'm 62 years old, and I never thought a simple text message could destroy everything I believed about family. But on a Tuesday morning in September, while I was making my grandson's favourite cookies, my phone buzzed. What I read changed my life forever. My name is Carol, and for 8 years, I thought I had the perfect relationship with my son David and his wife Jessica. I was the grandmother who showed up to every soccer game, every school play. I babysat little Tommy every weekend so they could have date nights. I even helped them with their mortgage payments when David lost his job 2 years ago. I genuinely believed we were a close family. Jessica would call me Mom Carol and always asked for my famous lasagna recipe. David would bring Tommy over every Sunday for our tradition, pancakes and cartoons with Grandma. But that Tuesday morning, everything changed. I was pulling chocolate chip cookies from the oven, Tommy's favourites, when my phone lit up. It was a text from Jessica. Carol, we need to talk. David and I have decided we don't need you in our lives anymore. You're too involved, and it's affecting our marriage. Please stop coming around. We'll handle Tommy's upbringing ourselves. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I read it 3 times. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my phone. The cookies burned while I sat on my kitchen floor, crying. I drove straight to their house. I needed to understand. When Jessica opened the door, she looked cold. Not the warm woman who used to hug me and ask about my garden. Jessica, what's going on? What did I do wrong? She crossed her arms. You did everything wrong, Carol. You undermined my parenting. You spoiled Tommy. You made him think he could run to Grandma whenever I disciplined him. I was stunned. But I've only tried to help. Help? She laughed bitterly. You helped him become defiant. You helped David think his mummy knows better than his wife. You helped create chaos in my house. That's when David appeared behind her. My own son. The boy I raised alone after his father left us. Mom, he said quietly, not meeting my eyes. Jessica's right. We need space to be our own family. For 3 months, I respected their wishes. I stayed away, even though it broke my heart. I'd drive past Tommy's school, just hoping to catch a glimpse of him. I bought him birthday presents I couldn't give. I felt like I was grieving a death. But then something interesting happened. My neighbour, Mrs. Patterson, came over with some surprising news. Carol, honey, she said. I saw Jessica at the grocery store yesterday. She was talking loudly on her phone. You know how she gets. She was telling someone that now that you're out of the picture, David's been working overtime to afford the babysitter they need. Apparently they're struggling financially without your help. That got me thinking. I started paying attention. I noticed David looked exhausted when I saw him at the gas station. He looked like he'd aged 5 years in 3 months. Then, last week, I got a call that changed everything. It was Tommy's school counsellor. Mrs. Johnson, this is Mrs. Rivera from Oakwood Elementary. Tommy has been asking about you in our counselling sessions. He's been having some behavioural issues since you stopped visiting. He keeps asking why Grandma doesn't love him anymore. That 7-year-old boy thought I abandoned him. I knew I had to act. Not for Jessica, not even for David. For Tommy, and honestly, for myself. I realised I'd been so focused on keeping everyone else happy that I forgot my own worth. I called David directly. We need to talk, all of us, tonight. When I walked into the house that evening, Jessica looked annoyed, but David looked relieved, like he'd been waiting for this moment. I sat down and said something I'd never said before. I'm going to speak, and you're going to listen. Jessica, I understand you felt undermined, but I was never trying to replace you as Tommy's mother. I was trying to be his grandmother. Something you can't be for him. David, you're my son, but you're also a father now. Your job is to make sure Tommy has all the love and support he needs, not to choose sides. But here's what's really important. I am not going anywhere. I am Tommy's grandmother. I will not be erased from his life because of adult conflicts. The room was silent for what felt like forever. Then David spoke up. Mum's right, Jess. These 3 months have been hell. Tommy cries for Grandma every night. I've been working double shifts to pay for childcare. And honestly, I miss my mum too. Jessica's walls started cracking. I just felt like I wasn't good enough. Like Tommy preferred you over me. It hurt. That's when I understood. This wasn't really about me being too involved. It was about a young mother feeling insecure, and instead of talking about it, she tried to eliminate the perceived competition. Jessica, I said gently, I could never replace you. I don't want to, but I can love Tommy in a different way, the way only a grandmother can. There's room for both of us. That was 6 months ago. Things aren't perfect, but they're honest now. Jessica and I have regular coffee dates where we actually talk about parenting challenges instead of pretending everything's fine. David has learned to speak up for what his family needs instead of avoiding conflict. And Tommy, he gets Sunday pancakes with Grandma again. But now, sometimes Jessica joins us and I'm teaching her my secret pancake recipe. Empowering message. Here's what I learned. Your worth isn't determined by how much others need you, but by how much you value yourself. I spent years thinking that being indispensable made me valuable, but real value comes from setting healthy boundaries and refusing to be erased from the lives that matter to you. Sometimes, the people we love most will try to push us away when they're struggling. But that doesn't mean we have to disappear. Sometimes it means we need to stand our ground and fight for our place in the story. If you're watching this and you've ever felt like you had to choose between your own worth and keeping the peace, I want you to know you don't. You matter. Your love matters. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. What would you have done in my situation? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who might need to hear it today.